Wow. Errol Spence Jr. admits that he has about 2 or 3 fights in his current division at welterweight before he probably considers moving up to 154. We're going to talk about all that and more. Stay tuned. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We work in Cash App is $Boxingego. Let's jump right into it. Errol Spence Jr., he's the man. Big fish, man down. Hey, stop that cat. Ain't nobody been calling me out 2 years. This is his post on Twitter, and I thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to make a video about it. Now, he said a couple things. One tweet, he says, I'll tell you the truth. I could have retired after my accident and been good. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So he's basically saying he's pretty well off. He's happy. Financially, he's stable. So he didn't even need to continue fighting. Errol Spence also talked about in the build-up to Danny Garcia, there were times where things were rough. Physical therapy, I'm assuming, getting in a nasty car wreck. And he even considered quitting. But he realized, like, what kind of example would I be leaving for my children if they want to do something in the future and they know their dad quit. So he's like, nah, I can't go out like that. Now, the title of this video, you guys see it. Errol Spence says, probably two or three more fights before I move up. And he randomly said that. Now, Errol Spence, in his fight with Danny Garcia, he made weight. It looked like no problem. Errol Spence seems to have had an awakening, if you will, with that scare with the accident, and he looked real focused in this fight and fight camp. It looked like he made 147 no problems. He actually came in under the 147. Some fighters come in at the exact weight, like 147 flat, but he came in under. Even for the Mikey Garcia before the accident, he came in under. He was like 146. So he continues to make weight, but he's talking about a couple more fights before he moves up. Now, one reason this is real interesting is because one topic that, some people are making into kind of a big current topic is Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, if they fight. With Errol Spence now declaring that probably in 2, maybe 3 fights, he intends to move up, this could be bad news for Terrence Crawford. Now, I've spent a lot of time on my channel talking about this in terms of, I just feel Terrence Crawford hasn't been branded the same as Errol Spence. Errol Spence, his team, his trainer, Derek James, his trainer should really be trainer of the year. And I'll talk about that more on my channel. Al Heyman, PBC, the infrastructure, Showtime, Fox, they've done a good job of just helping Errol Spence get before the eyes. Errol Spence kind of did the rest with his training, his performances, things like that. And at the end of the day, the same can't be said for Terrence Crawford. Now, Terrence Crawford is still a tremendous fighter. Nobody will ever probably take that away from him unless they can do that in the ring, and beat him. But with Errol having 2 belts, as you guys see on the screen, beating the bigger and better names, you see his caption on this post said, "Big fish back." This puts Terrence Crawford in a precarious position. Now, this is not my opinion. Manny Pacquiao's own team talked to Yahoo Sports, according to Yahoo Sports writer Kevin Iole, and said that Errol Spence Jr. is a great fighter, Per Manny Pacquiao Promotions, Sean Gibbons, he looked good in the fight, and Manny Pacquiao has the hunger to continue fighting and is eyeballing Spence for a potential 2021 showdown. Obviously, he's doing his stuff in the Philippines. It's been a tumultuous year, I guess you could say, with the Rona. Pacquiao is the man of the people. Plus, he works with the Senate and does the politics thing. So that came directly from Pacquiao's side that they were paying attention. There was also an indication of this. Manny Pacquiao post-fight, after Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia, they showed it even on the Fox telecast, and Manny Pacquiao congratulated him. You know, I can, since I'm here and I got everything set up, I can really pull it up for you guys so you guys are able to see. But again, going back to what I was saying with Terrence Crawford, he just not in a winning position for leverage, right? And this picture is hilarious to me. Shout out to the Pacquiaos. He's not in a position to win in terms of the business, in terms of leverage. Where is this Pacquiao tweet? I know he tweeted him. I must have skipped it. See, and here's another thing. Kevin Iole is the one that said this, that he talked to Sean Gibbons, and you see Pacquiao's retweeting him. And look, it says the Senator Manny Pacquiao is watching tonight. Tonight, December 5th, was obviously the night Errol Spence fought. And there it is. There it is. As promised. He tagged him too. Pacquiao says, "Welcome back, Errol Spence. Congratulations on your victory." So Pacquiao is clearly paying attention to Errol Spence. Meanwhile, I haven't heard him say anything about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's team was acting like Terrence Crawford was about to fight Manny Pacquiao in Qatar. But, you know, realistically speaking, I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard anything from Team Pacquiao that would indicate that they're even looking at Crawford. And you have to understand this. If Crawford, for the same reasons Crawford is not the A side over Errol Spence, he wouldn't be the A side over Manny Pacquiao, who has 70 plus fights. And that being said, if he's not the A side over a guy like Spence too, you know, who's a 2-division or a 2-belt champion, I guess you could say, then you have to question, why would Manny Pacquiao pick a dangerous fight? Because Crawford, you know, he's a dangerous fight for anybody at welterweight. So why would he pick a dangerous fight? Hold on, I'm trying to find this tweet for you guys. Why would he pick a dangerous fight? After the Spence Garcia fight, I was angry. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to find this tweet for you guys. Why would Manny Pacquiao pick a dangerous fight with Terrence Crawford where Crawford hasn't been branded the same and he won't get the same type of money as if, here it is. He won't get the same type of money as if he were to fight Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia is a rumored name, or Conor McGregor. Terrence Crawford, out of those 3 fights, would a fight with him based on how he's been branded and lack thereof. His own promoter recently came out, Bob Arum, and says Crawford needs to do a better job promoting himself, right? So if that's the case, and Crawford's own, by admission of his own promoter, Bob Arum, Crawford needs to do a better job of selling himself. And Bob Arum also says he lost money in Crawford's 3 most recent fights to the point where he could have bought a nice house in Beverly Hills. You got to ask conventional wisdom, what would be in it for Pacquiao? He could fight Crawford for less money, who's a good fighter, and have a difficult fight, or fight Errol Spence and make more money, which is a difficult fight. Or, you know, other fights with Mikey Garcia, who Errol Spence beat, but he hits on a different market, you know, with the Hispanic crowd, or Conor McGregor, which is kind of a crossover fight. So all in all, I say that to say this. Everybody has options with the PBC. I believe Manny Pacquiao has one more fight with PBC. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, of course, Big Fish, except for Crawford. Be an interesting few months to see what Crawford decides to do. This is the tweet. Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole says, I just spoke to Sean Gibbons of Manny Pacquiao Promotions. He says Senator Manny Pacquiao was impressed and thought Errol Spence looked good. Still has the fire to fight in 2021 and would like to take on Spence. So you have to keep in mind, none of what I'm saying is my personal opinion. This is what Pacquiao's own team and representation of his team is saying, that he would like to take on Spence. And Manny Pacquiao has not rebuffed this claim, and this was put out December 5th at 10:15 p.m. If anything, I just showed you on Pacquiao's page, he's actually retweeting some things from Kevin Iole. So, you know, between that and Errol Spence tweeting that he's possibly going to move up in a couple of fights, it'll be very interesting to see what is decided next for Terrence Bud Crawford. Drop your thoughts in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. Also, if you want to help the channel, a great way to support and give yourself content is to get ESPN Plus using my link. ESPN Plus, they offer a ton of original content, docuseries, and more for $5.99 a month. Or you can get the bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, 3 apps for one low price of $12.99. Disney Plus just announced some new shows and some of your favorite shows returning, like The Mandalorian, new shows like Loki, and more. So they got a lot of content. Use my link. It does help the channel. Errol Spence, he says he could move up in 2 or 3 fights. This is great news for him because PBC pretty much owns the 147-pound division with the best names outside of Crawford, as well as 154. So if he's planning on moving up, I mean, think of the top fights. He can fight Julian J. Rock Williams. He can fight, and I don't know if he has friendships. I'm just naming names that are good fights. Swift Jared Hurds at 54 with PBC. You have Tony Harrison. He's not going to fight Jermell Charlo, his friend and stablemate, but Jason Rosario. There's a lot of great fights if he wants to move up. So I'm okay with this. Spence has talked about fighting Canelo at 160. So 154 should be the natural progression, you know, instead of, I'm not a real big fan of jumping more than one weight class at a time, unless there's a real big opportunity. But that's another story. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Errol Spence says probably 2 or 3 more fights, then he might move up. Let me know who you want to see him fight. He's fought and cleared out a lot of people. Obviously, the Pacquiao's a big fight. Let me know who else Spence needs to fight at welterweight. Who do you want to see him at 54 fight? Drop that in the comment section. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off.
It was a long road to get back to this point. What was going on through your mind when you were walking through the little area to go to the ring?
Basically, it was just like what my shirt says. It says I'm back, you know, and you know, it was just more of a grateful moment for myself. Like, man, all this hard work, you know, from this 1.5 years, you know, led me to this point. So, you know, basically it was just, man, like, you worked hard to get to this point. You deserve to be here. Now it's time to put on a show. Let's go. So I wasn't nervous at all after being 1.5 years off. I wasn't nervous at all coming and walking here. It was more of, man, like, this is my home. This is where I belong. Let's go. Definitely. I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, that's why they say a lot of boxers stay too long, because this is like a drug does. This is like a high does. So, you know, when people are cheering for you and, you know, the crowd, you know, basically praising you, you know, that's like a high. And that's why a lot of boxers, you know, come back. Like Sugar Ray Leonard, he came back, you know, he didn't need the money. He came back to fight because he was chasing something. He was chasing that high that, you know, basically, you know, people still cheering his name and being a champion and saying, you know, like even the Hector Camacho documentary was like, man, it's nothing like when people say and new, you know. So, you know, I just, you know, getting that again and just, you know, hearing people and still, and, you know, they putting the belts around me and things like that, you know, that meant a lot. And it's just, you know, I'm glad my hard work and basically my dedication and my path to get back, you know, ended with, you know, me defending my titles and, you know, putting the belts around my waist again and doing it in my hometown in front of all my fans.
Errol, did you feel that you hurt him at some point in the fight, particularly to the body?
Yeah, I think I hurt him a little bit, but Danny Garcia is very tough, very gritty, iron chin, iron body, and he's not gonna, basically, cower down to anybody. So I think I hurt him a little bit, but he's gonna fight regardless.
It was to the body you felt you hurt him more, or?
Yeah, I think I hurt him a couple times to the body, and I hit him in the chin and hurt him a little bit too. But he just, he's a real fighter, man. So he's not gonna go down easy.
Did you feel toward the end of the fight he was just trying to make it the 12 rounds and he wasn't going to open up against you?
I think he got discouraged a little bit. In the fight, and he kind of stopped his assault because he wasn't really landing that many punches. I was blocking him, picking him off, slipping him. So I think he was getting kind of frustrated.
Errol, great performance. I know you already talked about getting back to the ranch, very understandable. But what did you think of Terrence showing up ringside? Do you think that helps build some buzz to make it a big fight?
No. I mean, he got to live up to his words. If he say he's not worried about me, then I don't know why he doing what he was doing here. I probably wouldn't go to none of his fights, so I'm not worried about Terrence Crawford. Like I said, I'm going to enjoy my time with my kids and chill out and just reflect on this year and a half that, I came back and, we're going to move on in the summertime and see who I fight. So we'll see. I got to talk to my manager, Al Heyman, and we'll go from there.
Derek, you're the only coach in boxing that has 2 unified champions. Are you trainer of the year this year? It's almost over.
Hey, man, they'll find somebody to jump in front of me. They'll try to, but they really can't do it this time, I don't think, because of the circumstances. But, you never know. They'll find somebody.
And Earl, this proves tonight that you're very popular. Over 16,000 fans in a pandemic. They put, I don't know if you noticed during the fight, they put Crawford on a big screen. He got booed.
Well, that's what they were booing. I didn't know what they were booing.
Yeah, that's what they were booing. Okay. So what does it say? Do you have this big fan base here? You and Canelo, 120,000?
Like I said, I'm not worried about anybody right now. I'm going to enjoy my time with my family, chill out, and, maybe buy a couple horses and goats and cows and chickens and things like that. But, right now I'm just going to chill out, man, enjoy this a little bit of a layoff. It was a hard year and a half for me, coming back. And, I need to rest a little bit and not really think about boxing for like a week and then jump back on the ball. But, I'm not going to get out of shape, not going to get too fat. I'm going to keep working and stay in the gym.
Derek, question over here. Could you go into a little bit about the plan tonight for Danny and how crucial the jab was and ended up being?
Well, I always say the jab is the easiest punch to throw, the fastest punch you can throw, and the hardest punch to block. And you can see it tonight that it gave him a lot of issues. And he used the jab for the distance. He used the jab just to constantly keep him occupied. And he set him up with a lot of times with the jab. So he used it for several reasons. And then it was beautiful, man. It worked.
Derek, in an ideal world, you being Errol's trainer, how quickly would you want to see him back, and what, what more do you want to see out of him? He said he gave himself a B. Would you give him that rating too, or do you think he performed pretty well here tonight?
Nah, man, I give him an A+ just because he was able to be consistent. And I think that it's very difficult because that's what Danny Garcia's strength is in the complacency of the fighters. The fighters get comfortable. They get complacent, and he catches them with a good shot. So, myself, I would give him an A only because of the fact that his level of consistency. I didn't like when he was kind of dropping his hands a little bit, and I kind of told him. But at the same time, that's when Danny's he's at his strength because people get comfortable. And I think that I don't necessarily that's not my thing to say whenever I want him back in the ring. I just want him back in the gym in a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But other than that, I don't really. That's not my deal, man. I think that he needs to rest. He needs to get the everything's in. He's gonna be sore as heck tomorrow, man. Muscles and sore. You don't need to listen. The masseuse said she wanted to see him too, but he's gonna need a massage or hot whatever. But I think that, you know, maybe in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he'll be back in the gym and just keep it rolling, man.
Hey, Errol, I think it was toward the end of the 11th round. You looked down at the canvas. I couldn't really see what happened. Did you lose your mouthpiece? Is that what you were looking down at, or what?
Oh, yeah, I lost my mouthpiece.
And we have one more question on Zoom from Calvin Watkins with the Dallas Morning News. Calvin, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please ask your question.
Earl, at what point during this fight did you feel like you were the stronger guy? Did you know that coming in, or as the fight was progressing, did you feel like, oh, I'm the bigger guy, I'm the stronger guy? I could just feel it as the fight was going.
I kind of knew that I was the stronger guy just because, you know, I'm stronger than a lot of people, you know. You know, even though, you know, people say I might be skinny or whatever, I'm just naturally strong. People I spar, you know, light heavyweights, and things like that, and push them around. So, you know, I just felt like I was a strong guy. And especially him, you know, fighting at 140 before and things like that. And I was already bigger than him. I felt like I was bigger than him. I'm taller than him. My arms are longer than his. So, you know, I just felt like, you know, he really couldn't do nothing with me if we was fighting on the inside and outside. So I just felt that, you know, I held all the advantages. And, you know, before this fight, just watch him fight throughout the years and, you know, watching my fight, I just felt I had a better arsenal than him.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.